Greetings everybody and welcome to Games for Gamers here on YouTube. It is your host Napalm Dawn and we are here for this week's episode of Thursday Night Fights. Tomorrow is when I do my streaming on Twitch, which is typically from 3 to 5 Eastern. There is a chance that I will be, a fairly good chance that I will be a little bit late tomorrow, as I'm taking a cat to the vet for his annual checkup and everything, and that's at about 2:30, so more than likely I will be starting probably in around 3:30 or so. Just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way, and then let's get into this week's disclaimer. Please read the video description carefully. That's where all the links are to Facebook and Discord and everything. There is no ETA on Beta 6. There has been a really bad rash of questions about Beta 6 lately in terms of ETA and people trying to skirt around the rules of asking for an ETA by saying, are we going to get it in a month, a year, week, whatever. Please stop. Trying to get around the question by playing the semantics games doesn't help your case. There is no ETA on Beta 6 yet. There will not be a mobile version, and you are going to see differences between what you can play, which is Beta 5.2, versus what you see me playing, which is closed Beta 6.04. So if you're like, hey, why don't I have lockboxes, and why do my spec ops stop here, my chapters stop there, that is the answer right there. So let's get into this week's episode, which was a viewer request from last week. As always, if you guys happen to have a viewer request, go ahead and put it down below, and I will gladly go ahead and see if I can make a video out of it, which is just what I'm doing this week, was a viewer request from last week. I'm going to go ahead and collect my daily spinner. We wind up with shield points, not that great. That 20 gold would have been nice. Gonna do my collect all, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So what was requested last week was one that was based on quite a bit of comic lore, and that is Miss Marvel and Rogue. As you know, Rogue took Carol Danvers' personality for a little while, and eventually she got it back, and then I think recently Rogue has admitted that some of Carol Danvers' essence / powers and everything kind of stayed with her. So that is a interesting little reveal. I'm going with the Toolbox, the Coulson's Revenge, to get people adding additional attacks, the Heavy Ion Beam, which is a quick action, and the Techno-Organic Endoskeleton, which is there for combo setup. Now, unfortunately, I have to change this, as it does cause the game to crash. If I have it in the first slot, I can't even get into PvP, and if I go to try and use it, it actually crashes the game. Widow's Kiss, I want to check something out really quick over here. It's biofeedback. Yeah, I might be doing Seiken Strike for that. I was trying to farm for one of the combo setup fists over here in chapter 1. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get one to drop, so I think I will go with the Seiken Strike. Honestly, what I wanted was my agent to have the ability to put combo setup out there, because both Rogue and Captain Marvel can take advantage of it. That is the only real synergy between the two, is the fact that both are capable of unarmed melee. Now here in the betas though, Captain Marvel's best thing is to use her level 1. And as for Rogue, her whole kit works okay. However, the ability for these two gals to give themselves extra turns is not working. So there isn't much I can do about it. For Miss Marvel, I have changed her to her available alt, which is not this suit, which is my favorite. This is the suit that is a Chapter 2 Mastery uniform, so we don't have it available. So I kept her as a blaster and went with the original Miss Marvel look. I happen to really like, visually speaking, I really do like what I call the lightning strike or lightning stroke modern Miss Marvel. I also like the hair, but in terms of performance, I think I like the Captain Marvel uniform the best. For Rogue, we only have one thing available for Rogue. The Spec Ops where she gets her famine suit is in Chapter 2, so that is not available in this beta. And of course, the general release Modern Rogue occurred much later in the game. As a matter of fact, if you were playing the game back then, the Modern Rogue uniform and the Magic uniform dropped in what we all considered to be a content drought. We had those beta PvP seasons, but there was nothing new, and I feel like they knew that they had Modern Rogue, and then they had that other Magic uniform on deck for quite a while, and they were like, damn, we don't have anything going right now. We don't have the PvP season, we don't have the Spec Ops. Fuck, give them New Mutants Magic and give them Modern Rogue. That'll tide them over. And to be honest, it kinda did, but I think it was still really, really obvious. So, the toolbox is for an AoE expose. It's just more damage for my team. Coulson's Revenge, as we said, extra attacks, we hope. Heavy Ion Beam is a setup for Captain Marvel, whose level 1 is really, 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 really spicy. And then Seiken Strike is combo setup stuff. Let's go ahead and hit practice. So we start off with Agent Flynn. We've seen Agent Flynn and Valentin quite a bit over these last few weeks, as we are essentially in the gap between Season 1 and Season 2. We have a Blaster Thor, a Tactician Emma Frost, and a Infiltrator Agent. So we want to walk around Emma Frost. I'm going to go ahead and pop the enemy agent with a level 1. Increase speed does not work. Wide open would be great and is a good setup for Rogue, but Rogue goes after my agent. And I know that Photon Blast does a lot of damage, plus you get the locked on. Opening up with a huge hit. You guys might see that my hit point values are up pretty high this week. That is because of the messing around that we had done last week with my Armory. I'm going to Heavy Ion Beam Thor. So that makes him take increased energy damage, and then I don't want this agent getting mad at my Tactician with the Toolbox. However, I think I can Seiken Strike him out of there. I could also attempt to Coulson's Revenge him. I'm going to try to Seiken Strike because I want to see if it actually leaves any debuffs. I might... Yeah, I'm going to get countered. However, the extra attack from the Coulsons on Miss Marvel worked out great. We've had this long-running joke on the stream that anytime we get the extra attack from the Coulsons, it's on basically a corpse. It's beating a dead horse. It is somebody who was dead from the initial strike, and then the additional, dead from the original strike, and then all the additional ones don't actually matter. That time it did. It enabled us to get a kill, so that's always fun. Now I'm gonna take advantage of the radiation on Thor. Actually, I take that back. Thor is an Asgardian. He does not get radiation. Yeah, realized that as soon as I took the shot. I'm going to go for Absorb Power on the Tactician and try to get extra turns on Rogue. One of the ways that we can tie them together is to go ahead and do the combo setup, the melee attacks. That's actually a good round for Emma. She's making my Miss Marvel pass her turn, and she could have gotten a stun on Rogue, So, kudos to the AI for that Emma Frost round there. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and punch Thor. It'd be nice if I could take advantage of, you know, increased energy damage there, but I can't. Toolbox is perfect right now, as I'll get everybody exposed, and it should kill Thor. Alright, let's go ahead and I want to punch Emma. Yeah, okay, so Seiken Strike does not leave combo setup, so that is unfortunate. I was really trying to get one of those before the video, but it didn't work out. Honestly, the Techno-Organic Endoskeleton, which is available in the store, is the best thing that you can do, because it makes you have mechanical body, which does make you immune to a bunch of debuffs, and you could put out combo setup. You can also exploit combo setup. So, first fight, pretty easy. Now we have a tanking blaster, which is good for my tactician. We have a bruiser, and we have a scrapper. We have the advantages here. We have a blaster versus bruiser. We have a tactician versus blaster. I'm going to try something. I'm going to go ahead and put the combo setup on the enemy agent. Respectable damage, but I think the level 1 is better. That's actually a pretty good Hoarfrost hit on Rogue. If the enemy agent keeps that up, she's going to be a bit of a threat. Let's see if we can take advantage of that combo setup. Maybe. I mean, it was solid, but it wasn't earth-shattering. We know the enemy agent tanks, so let's absorb power, get blaster power, which should mean that Rogue do some crits. Rogue counters and the enemy agent tanks it. You guys have seen this in recent weeks. There is a little bit of an issue there where tanking is super effective and it even tanks counters. That is a bug, not a feature. Miss Marvel's gonna do a wide open. I'm just trying to spread the love in her kit a little bit. In all honesty, it really should be her level 1. Her level 1 is the best thing we've got right now. Let's see, wide open is there, combo setup is there, so let's see what happens if we punch the enemy agent. There you go. That's a good melee strike. Time to AoE, since I have nothing to fear over there, there's no infiltrators. We're gonna put out exposed. More damage for me. Neither one of these guys I think are going to be particularly threatening. These guys would actually... Oh, I'm gonna just shut up. Yep, I'm gonna go shut them down, because Hulk almost punched Rogue into the stratosphere. She is gonna do an energy drain, so she's gonna get some hit points back. And we've weakened Hulk, which is good. Rogue is not out of the woods. I think if she takes another Hulk shot, she's in trouble. Blaster on Bruiser. We're going to have to do the level 1 because we need to kill him. Yeah. And there's the beating the dead horse extra attack that we were talking about. I think if I heavy ion beam Quicksilver, I'm just going to wind up losing my turn, but I'm going to go for it because it'll help Captain Marvel. He countered. Okay, good. Let's try heavy ion beam into the Coulson's Revenge. This is a combo I've used before, and you guys are probably familiar with it. If Rogue's kit was truly working, this would be a good time for Southern Comfort. Not the alcohol, but the ability. Wow, that was a huge radiation exposure hit. So I said we were going to take a look at my armory. Yeah, this is it. The reason why the HP values are so high in combat right now is because of that one Demon Fang being slotted. That is a huge, huge bonus for something that occurs in the 4th Spec Ops, which is the Ghost Rider Spec Ops. To see that level of armory bonus in what is Season 1 content, and only the 4 Spec Ops, I think that is off the charts crazy, but okay, it gives us a chance to execute our plan a little bit more because people are hardier, even though the damage does ramp up. 2 bruisers, a scrapper, again, advantage us. Oh my god. Excuse me as I exclaim into my cup over here. Wow. I absorb power in the scrapper for extra attacks. Now, actually, I take that back. That was stupid. I should have absorbed bruiser power from Hercules, which would have meant that if Quicksilver hit Rogue, she would have bruisered up. However, I went with the scrapper because of I was blinded by the extra attack, really. I made a knee-jerk decision instead of a tactical one, but I think it will still work out. Damn. Damn. Damn, okay. Well, yeah, so I guess I was right. It did work out. That additional attack from Rogue had a scrapper follow-up component to it, and it knocked out Hercules before he got a turn. So, good job Coulson's Revenge, good job scrapper power. Now, sometimes the classifications that are getting used in Marvel Avengers Alliance, I don't agree with. And Redux right now is continuing the legacy of these wonky moments. But I do hope things get a quality of life pass at some point in the future. For example, Kree Strike, just melee, but not melee unarmed. It is a flying physical fist attack. Why isn't it melee unarmed, yet Brawl is? Confusing. If we look at Rogue, she has some of the same problems. Brawl, melee unarmed. Absorb power, just melee. Neither Rogue nor Captain Marvel have armaments. Now, Photon Blast, ranged, energy, like that all makes sense. But why is this just melee? Why is Drain Essence just melee, but Southern Comfort is melee unarmed? She has to make physical contact for these two to work. That is how Rogue works. I mean, that is comically accurate for her. So why isn't it melee unarmed? Because there's no gun, there's no melee weapon, which would be an armament. It's just melee unarmed. I mean, like, tell me, where are the arms, quote unquote, in Captain Marvel and Rogue? If you find them, please tell me. But it's that kind of stuff that I hope the Redux team at some point gives it a logical pass. My agent takes a stun, which is unfortunate. Of all the people to get stunned by this, it's the person who hasn't gone yet. So tanking just screwed up the enemy team over there. Rose was going to counter Hercules, but because the agent tanked, he sacrificed himself. I'm not hurt enough for Drain Essence, so I think I want to do this. I'm going to combo set up Hercules, and then I'm going to have Blaster Marvel over here try to take advantage of it. So what is the bigger hit? Alright, so Kree Strike is the bigger hit. Yeah, pretty solid. Not enough to kill him, but still really solid. I think the combo setup was executed properly over there. And that is the way to tie these two together. Obviously, as we said, you know, they have comic lore together, but on paper, when you first look at them, you're like, do these two really go together in any way, shape, or form? But yeah, you can tie them together. Absorb power counter goes off, which is good. Now we have the scrapper power. Now we're going to energy drain, which should get her close to full, if not full, and get a follow-up. For their ISOs and everything, I will show them off before this final fight. It is the PKB method modified, and this is the proper way to make modifications to the PKB method, because the PKB method never takes into account stamina. Because stamina was not a viable resource in PvP until much later in the game when they did the stamina nerf for PvP. So the way that I have done Miss Marvel is... well, okay. I'll just go ahead and show you the stats. Full bars of health, stamina, and attack, and accuracy with a slight nod to defense. Considering she has a defensive ability off of her level 9, and she could tank if you wanted her to, you should build her defense a little bit higher than this, but I wanted to go for stamina because her level 1 is stamina hungry, her attack and accuracy are up, so that is why she is so peppy. Over here on Rogue, I have one chaotic here at the end, but I was leaning into health, stamina, attack, defense, and accuracy on this one. So the other reason why I am using modified PKB is because for the white ISOs, everything costs gold except for the chaotic. So when he makes recommendations for like stalwarts and skillfuls and all of that, I can't get them because I haven't researched these yet, and I'm not spending gold on these characters. So, okay, it is this team again. Rogue is first. I always like to start off with Absorb Power because it's, you know, it just everything helps her out. No matter what it is, it's gonna help her out. Pancration Pummel from Hercules, which is the anti-melee, which is really good for Rogue. I'm absorbing power again from the enemy agent because the enemy agent tanked the counter. Miss Marvel probably won't get a kill by using a Photon Blast. Increase speed is what I should do if it was working. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Brawl. Absorb energy won't work because there is no energy from Quicksilver. And Hercules, now the agent may have an energy weapon over there, but I'm hoping to kill him before he gets another turn. Tag team from Quicksilver, which is weak. However, we do get the AoE combo setup, which is a lovely setup for Hercules. Okay, Hercules in point. Column down makes sense that it's not unarmed because he's using a weapon. He's using a Greek column. The level 2, which is the anti-range, where he throws the rock would be an arm. In this one, it is a armament. So that one would make sense that like it would be ranged and not unarmed and everything, but yeah, his level 1 is unarmed melee, and that's great with Quicksilver if the combo setup is out. Ooh, the Odin Staff. Wow. Rogue is hurt a little bit, so let's do the Drain Essence, and oh my god, the Drain Essence puts the agent down. that was a really big Drain Essence hit. I'm really happy to see that. And I'll tell you why. If you go to the stream, if you've been a fan of the streams, you'll know that I like to run characters that put up great tubs or team up bonuses. In holy shit, Miss Marvel. In Season 1, Thor and Hulk is really good, Iron Man and War Machine is really good, Scarlet Witch Quicksilver is really good, and so is Rogue and Gambit, some of the highest tubs you can get. I've often felt both of them do piss poor damage, especially when you're leveling them. So I always have that problem where, yes, I use them for the tub, but then I get very disappointing combat capabilities out of them. So that's why they're frustrating to use. Once I started ISOing Gambit and Rogue, as we saw for a recent video where I was using Gambit for a PvP team, they have become more impressive. So it is worth it to ISO the characters that you feel you are going to use. And remember, something that is really handy is that when you take an ISO away from somebody, it just goes back into your inventory. So if you're running a little bit poor and your silver's not really good, but you have a bunch of characters and you're trying to have effective combat and everything, just take the ISOs off a character you're not using at that point, put it on somebody else. So for example, I just told Emma to train. If I was having some issues with my silver, with my currencies and everything, and I know Emma's training for almost 20 hours, well, 20 hours, I could take the ISOs off of her and then move them over to Black Panther, where appropriate, and then I don't have to spend more money. So don't forget the efficiency that is caked into the game there. If you're level 15 and your money's not doing well and you have some ISOs and somebody's training or somebody's deployed and you have a stand-in, like Iron Man's deployed, or Iron Man, excuse me, Iron Man. Iron Man is deployed to a mission over here, so now I have a replacement in this fight, and it's Cap. So now it's Cap and Hawkeye instead of Iron Man and Hawkeye. You could take the ISOs off Iron Man, slap them on Cap, and it'll just be that much more effective while he's standing in for Tony Stark for you. So keep that in mind. It is non-destructive when you take ISOs away from your heroes, and then they just go back into your inventory. So thanks for watching the video, everybody. I hope you guys have a safe weekend, and I will see you Friday on Twitch in the afternoon. Again, might be late. Hope you guys truly enjoyed the video, and if you have a team up idea for me to do next week, put it in the comments below. Chances are I will have my own team up idea for next week. I farmed a piece of gear for it tonight and was successful. So I think it is the linchpin / cornerstone of the team that I have planned next week. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.